up, Sea Dogs? Welcome to the Drunken Ship Podcast. Oh, wait, welcome aboard.
What's up, Sea Dogs?
What's up, Sea Dogs? The saltiest to seas, dogs.
Better than semen.
Welcome to the Drunken Ship Podcast. Episode 36?
35.
35.
It's so hard to keep track of this shit after a while.
I'm your host, the one who is Manny, CyberCalamity, alongside my co-host for today. We have the man who bleeds red? PlayStation? Tay Norman, a.k.a. Tay Infinite. Next we have him, the Puerto Rican Reggie Watts. Bryan.
Yo.
And that's it for today. So, guys, what's up? How you guys doing? How have you guys been? Tay, we haven't seen you in like 4 fucking weeks. What's going on here, buddy?
Has it been 4 weeks?
Dude, it's been a while. I haven't seen you since fucking Christmas.
Oh my god, you're right.
Since the New Year episode, I haven't seen you. Yeah.
It's 2 weeks. Work.
Yeah, what the fuck have you been up to? You doing all right?
What I do? Wake up, work, go home, sleep and eat, repeat. That's all I've been doing. This is my first time actually touching a game.
Did you get a new job recently?
Amazon, yeah. $15 an hour.
Oh, how's that?
3 hours a week. Not bad. Way better than FedEx years ago. Actually, I took a COVID test.
What did you do before you worked for Amazon?
Wait, what now?
Sorry, that was a bit of lag. What were you saying?
I took a COVID test the other day. They take COVID really seriously there. So I'm waiting for my. Fucking
hope so.
Hope I don't become
that
positive.
thing like shoved up your nose.
Yeah, I did all that.
Dude, I went to get a COVID test not too long ago, and I did the nose swab thing, and when I pulled it out, I had like blood on my fucking swab.
Yeah, you got.
I looked at my nose is fucked up.
Oh. Yeah. What do you guys
this shit, this like Owen Wilson fucking looking nose, fuck the hell.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
awesome, man.
What? Wow.
Wow.
That would be the end. You abuse your soundboard. I saw you on stream the other day in like 5 minutes. I fucking hit the autonomous ultra instinct push.
You get copyrighted.
I was just watching. I was just watching, and you hear Crockett going, "Autonomous Ultra Instinct."
I hate how they changed the name for that.
You guys can't hear it, but the audience will hear it.
Fuck out of here.
I'm gonna dodge DMC as long as I can. I'm keeping everything under 4 seconds, so I do have some song bits in here. So hopefully I can keep kind of getting away with it until I get a little bit, more
bigger.
So I get probably the less I can do with that. But we down in the shits right now, so I can run wild.
Yeah, dude, I fucking made Twitch affiliate. I forgot to update it.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
In the last week, I made Twitch affiliate, so thank you all for the support. Yeah, I finally got it. I gotta make emotes now and fucking figure out subscriptions and all that shit. It's great. It's fucking great.
And then community challenges and all this shit. It opens up a whole nother can of worms for you to spend an entire day at.
Yeah. Hey, so you've been working? That's about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
adult stuff.
I feel you on that.
What do you guys been up to?
I about broke my fucking foot at the Sunday last week. Dropped 25 pounds on it from about a foot away at the gym.
Speaking of that, dude, I started the gym this week too, by the way. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I started the gym Monday.
Okay.
Monday, yeah.
I gotta catch back up with the gym. I got a COVID exposure, and then just fucked my whole momentum up.
Yeah.
So you gotta fucking do it again.
Dropping 25 pounds on my foot also has fucked my momentum up because I've had to not go for a week. But as soon as I did it, as soon as I dropped it, I didn't make a sound because there was 15 people around me, and I'm like, oh no, I'll just walk that off. And then after probably 20 minutes, I went back to lifting weights, and I was like, I can walk fine on it. And then after about 15 minutes, my foot started going numb. I couldn't feel it, and I was like, fuck. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave. And then I went home and iced it for 6 hours. It was starting to swell, I guess, and then I just kept icing it and icing
Jordan,
it, and then
25 pounds.
What?
Grow up. 25 pounds, really?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 25 pounds.
I'm thinking like a 45, and then I just realized the size was 25. Really? That hurt?
Directly on the top of my foot. Yeah. If it would have landed on my toes, it would have broke all my toes.
What shoes do you have on?
Yeah.
It shouldn't hurt that bad.
Like running shoes, like thick shoes.
Dude, running shoes offer no protection whatsoever.
Maybe more like
Not on the
durable
top
than
of
Jordan.
them. The bottom of them, they're shot. They're for the shock. But straight on the top of it, yeah, it just hit the top of the bone.
Hey, speaking of gym,
which I have fractured that same area before. What's up?
So I started going back to the gym this Monday. One day I actually do upper body, but Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are my cardio day. Bryan, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Running with a mask on,
Yeah.
it's painful. It sucks.
Oh yeah, that shit sucks.
Awful.
It sucks.
I'm about to have a heart attack running on
Does it
treadmill.
make it hard to breathe?
Yes, times 10. Imagine like in a hyper time chamber. That, not even exaggerating. It makes it work out way worse. So I'm not
That's
sure they
fucking
allow
awful.
you to So I was talking to a guy that was to the gym this morning. He said they allow you to wear a mask for your mouth, not the nose running. So
My gym, Planet Fitness lets you take it off while you're like actually at the treadmill or something.
they do.
Yeah, but it's whatever, man. Like I wore my mask and I was like doing like light jogging and I wore it and I was like, I'm asthmatic too. Like I just have all my respiratory system is all shagged. And like I was running and I like got into like a light jog and like I felt myself like fucking like
It's really bad for your lung. Carbon
it's bad.
dioxide.
See, I was running with the mask on, and it was like the first day I did it, I was like, there's no fucking way I can do this. So what I do is just I pull it down to my nose, and then I just breathe in through my nose, and then out my mouth, and then it's fine like that. I could run like that.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that
Dude,
tomorrow.
running in general, running sucks. Anyone that enjoys running is lying to me.
No, I love running.
No, you're lying to me. I don't believe
No,
it.
I know I'm not great right now,
Everything
but
about running.
really,
Everything about running, like you may enjoy the aftermath of running. You may enjoy how you feel after you run. Everything about running sucks.
there was a point in my life
Moving
where
fast,
I was like running
What is
I was running every day, and to the point I didn't feel anything.
don't understand that. I don't understand that. That shit's
Really?
baffling to me.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm a chunky man, and like literally running is me putting 265 pounds of mass on one foot at a time, really
Dude, I'd love
fast,
to be
over
the
and over again.
Fly on the wall for that treadmill, going do.
It's dum, 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 dum. It's like fucking Donkey Kong hitting on like the fucking bongos.
What's
I
funny
remember when I
though?
was like
awful.
really overweight, like running on a treadmill, and like I would be in it only be me, so I could just hear myself. It wouldn't be dry heaving. I could just hear the fucking treadmill going, and I'm like, Jesus. Because I run.
Hey, you remember that
incline
meme, the
a lot,
JoJo?
and I run on a high speed, and I just hear this, the do. And I'm
You
like,
get so
that poor treadmill.
self-conscious.
Hey, it's funny because people told me like a lot over the years, like you walk slow but run fast. Doesn't make any sense. I walk really slow compared to most people.
Take your time.
Tay, you are the most relaxed man that I know.
Really?
You're like
That's a lie.
yeah, not like maybe not relaxed in terms of stress, but like if you encounter a stressful situation, you just go
No.
and then you walk away and you deal with it. That's been my experience watching you do anything at school. Like when people were annoying you.
I've only seen Tay down bad once. And that's when he was setting up the voice
meter.
thing.
No. Speaking of that, not to drag on to it, this year I made a big deal about relaxing myself.
Good.
Like even though on the outside I seem calm, that's not the case. I'm really stressed.
Oh no, I know that.
Anything sets me off, and I've been working on that like all this year so far at least.
You and
I feel
I
better.
have the same internal rage. It's just a constant river of rage, and we're just fucking swimming through it all the time.
Yeah.
But we look very calm and collected on the outside, but inside I'm fucking screaming all of the time.
Like I'm constantly
It's like,
before this year I was constantly tense with stuff like this. Anything that's I get super stressed really easy, and I worry about things too much and overthink. I'm working on that. That's like one of my biggest things this year. I'm working on. I'm been doing really well so far. I've been in a better mood lately.
dude, fuck yeah. I feel like we're about to get into the topic, but I feel like the fact that 2020 was like such a shitty year in terms of like emotionally dealing with everything. I feel like we have no choice but to adapt and like take it fucking easy for 2021 because it'll be the death of us, man. Like I have eye bags, like, I can't sleep. I feel like
but a few days I had eye bags too. Like I had those, but yeah, I've been. I just feel better what I'm doing. I know it's funny. Like this year, I was like I'd be talking to myself a lot, not out, like in my head a lot when I'm working and what I'm doing, and I know this sounds strange, but I kind of wised up over the span of a few weeks. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm taking things more. I'm treating myself better than I usually do. Does that make any sense?
That does make sense. I was the same way. I was like constantly getting stressed about things, and I was just like, I gotta fucking relax for my own mental health. Yeah. I'm fucking dying over here.
Yeah. So I'm in a good mood right now. I'm off. Thank God.
Oh yeah, man. I'm glad to see it.
What have you been up to?
I've been working. I don't have a car anymore, so that's been annoying.
I forgot about that.
But I've been mostly like watching like, yeah, me too. I forgot about it. And here's the thing. I don't have a car. I have no vehicle. Literally no 4 wheels to drive on. Geico took money off of my insurance the other day. Geico took my money. They're insuring
the stimulus
doesn't exist.
Was it the stimulus?
Yeah, they just took $86 out of my account, and but I have no car. The car doesn't exist. It is literally. But you're still
getting charged with the insurance?
Yeah, so I gotta call them and like deal with it. But the car is literally being compacted. Yeah, which I thought was a fucking obvious thing that was gonna happen. Once we dealt with the car, hey, car no longer exists. Bryan no longer pays for car insurance.
It's probably the last one of the month or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was probably pissed at it because it makes no fucking sense.
Nah, they'll keep doing it until he calls. They're like,
we
can keep squeezing.
Yeah, it's best to call, but I think that's probably the last one of the time period. Then they're probably send a system down, whatever. But it's best to check.
Yeah, car insurances can go fuck themselves. I hate the concept of car insurance. Like,
it's stupid.
We pay them like $100 a month to not get fucked, and then they fuck us anyway.
That's funny way to put it.
Yeah, isn't that the point of car insurance, to fucking get you a car?
It's not physically, it's financially.
Smash up your car.
Yeah, it's so that in the case that you get hit, you don't get fucked over, and then you get hit, and then they fuck you over. You're not paying to not get fucked over. You're paying for the license of who gets to fuck you over. That's what car insurance fucking is. So I've been dealing with that. Annoying. But other than that, just getting like really good at fighters, or trying to get really good at fighters, and like, because Baby Vegeta fucking comes out and we have a fight night tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
Is he out
yet?
The day this episode comes out, if you guys are watching this at like noon when this episode releases, like we're doing a fighters tournament at 6 or it's at 7, right? 7, 8.
It's at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're probably gonna be streaming it, assuming that the game isn't broken.
Right. Well, I was able to get on today right for the podcast. Good.
So yeah, Super Baby Vegeta came out, which is, I think Tay and I share this. I think he's like our favorite GT character.
What?
Is that true, Tay? Baby Vegeta?
No, I'm afraid of it, but I like him.
He's not one of your favorites?
I like him though.
I like he was one of my favorites characters, so I'm super hyped to try him. So I've been trying to hop in the lab and honestly just learning audio editing, man. Just like trying to I want to become a full-time podcast editor. So I'm like looking up fucking podcasts on Twitter, going like, "Hey, y'all need an editor?
You need an editor?
Want to throw me some cash?" But that's kind of all I've been doing, and like I watched a movie on Netflix called Over the Moon the other day. This really cute animated movie about a Chinese family. It's like musicals. You go to the moon, you meet a goddess. It's fucking delightful.
Is it live action?
No, it's animated. It's like the Pixar animated style. I just don't know who made it. I think it was Pixar. But it's called Over the Moon. Really cute fucking movie. I recommend you watch it. I watch it with Annie. We're cuddling, and we both like shed a little tear because the ending's really sweet. It's adorable.
How was Annie? Talked to them a long time. Great.
She's doing good. We streamed GTA 5 the other day together, and that was pure fucking chaos.
Yeah.
GTA 5 Online is just like, we're doing this date book that you pick. It's like a book. It's got like 50 dates on it. And then like every week you like scratch one off and then you take a picture while you do it. And then the last one that we got was recreating your parents or grandparents like first date. But her parents met at a bar and my parents went motorcycle riding across the fucking island. So one, I'm not going to get a motorcycle, and two, it's COVID. So what we did is we bought GTA 5 and
oh my God. Okay. I see you going that.
Yeah, we decided to ride around the city in GTA 5 as a date. And it was a really cute idea. And it was nice. Until we got into GTA 5 Online and some dude called Little Shrimp fucking murked us 6 times in a row.
Dude, what a generational gap.
GTA Online.
What a generational gap of things to do with your significant other. From like being together on a motorcycle to playing the video game.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Generational gap. You know.
Now what if your parents met at a Trump rally?
Then I
at a Capitol.
First of all, I would not be this.
You gotta do it, Bryan. You gotta do the book. You gotta do what the book says. You gotta go, man.
Nope, I would not be this color if my parents met at a Trump rally.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's
guys,
kind of
all
what
right,
I've been up to.
let's get stuck in. Let's get set sailed, son. Let's bang that fucking bottle against the old ship.
We gotta stop the.
Dude, I love how you have pirate bottle.
You got a what?
Rum.
Stop what?
You gotta stop these pirate
It's fucking water, mate.
No, I'm actually drinking rum. That's actually funny. You say this is actually rum. It's all right. I used what is that? What the hell is that?
Sparkling water.
A little sparkling water. A little
Sparkling water is
dazzle
bullshit.
in your water.
Sparkling water, Crocker, before you start, let me say this. Sparkling water and fucking LaCroix are bullshit.
Oh my God.
LaCroix... Yeah.
Okay.
No, don't fucking hate me.
No. I thought about this because remember I tweeted about I hate LaCroix. A few months later, I'm loving it.
Fucking bullshit.
You gotta get used to it.
No. If you gotta get used to it, it's bad. Okay?
That's right.
You're just lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. If you gotta get used to something, everyone that tells me that they love beer and they love IPAs, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, beer's nasty. Yeah, beer's nasty.
I actually do love
and you know
beer.
it. Fuck you, Crockett. You don't.
Yeah,
You're lying to
beer
yourself.
is nasty.
You just gotta drink it for like 7 years straight, and
I had like
you know
one
what?
good beer.
You get Stockholm syndrome and liking beer. You're like, you got a vice
man
grip on. You're like, you know what? This ain't half bad, I guess.
This man drinks one like black coffee. Like he has no soul in terms of like it's pure black. Drinking. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. You look at a real ass man right now.
You're a real man. You can drink black
real
coffee.
Real ass taste buds.
You can tell me you wake up one morning like this is good. Get out of here.
Yeah, dude. No, it's a gradual thing. You be like, you know what? This ain't half bad. Bryan's the same way. He drinks black coffee.
That happened to me too. One time I was like, I woke up and I just had a fucking pot of black coffee, and I'm just walking around my house going like, am I old now? Is that what is this
black coffee? How do y'all do that?
You start drinking. You stop drinking like folders, and you just drink like some really good. Like I had this. We can't get too far off topic here, but I had this really good coffee from World Market. It's like something. It's got a mousse on it, and it's like Caribbean or something. It's. Fuck, I'm trying to remember the flavor of it. It's like a red packaging.
Just fucking.
It's bourbon. It's a
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
It's so good. You can drink it black, and it has this really nice, soft, not a smoky flavor, but a real rich flavor of like this bourbon. It's like the best coffee I ever had. I have to like. It's seasonal coffee, so you can only get it like around Christmas time. Is when it sucks, but. Every time if I see one bag, I will buy 16 bags of it just to suck up on it once a year.
I just brought some Dunkin' Donuts.
It's hard to find. I guess I could try to Google it or what was that?
I brought some Dunkin' Donuts Keurig things yesterday.
Yeah, see,
Dunkin' Donuts coffee
that's
slaps.
the thing. That's why people hate drinking black coffee because they be drinking some shite fucking coffee.
You don't like Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
Some bad coffee. No, that's awful.
I think it's better than Starbucks. I think Starbucks sucks. Yeah, Starbucks sucks.
Yeah,
Finally, someone agrees with me.
Let's be honest. Starbucks is a fucking dessert coffee.
It's the McDonald's of coffee
places.
places.
But if you get the black coffee at Starbucks,
Speaking of Starbucks, the fucking cake pops. Have you guys had a cake pop?
Yeah, they're like $4.
Cake pop? Oh my god, it's so good.
It's just cake.
All right, we got to stop.
Yeah,
I'm dragging on. What's the topic?
Let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, let's fucking.
All right, let's wind our minds back a couple years. You know, let me set the stage here, because this week's topic is childhood nostalgia.
Aja.
We both. This is gonna be on your phone now. You're not gonna pay attention.
I know my phone's.
I paid attention. I just got a text. Goddamn.
Yeah, you all texting each other like, look at this dickhead.
This faggot.
That's what you guys are doing.
Now I'm listening. I'm not doing this. I'm listening.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I've been playing Kakarot. I don't know if you guys ever played Kakarot, but it's a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's pretty faithful to the anime. I mean, it's literally tailor-made like the anime was. And just like while I've been playing it, I was like getting these wild memories. And it's like a very, very like a memory that's like gripped to my core that I can never forget. It is ingrained into my mind. And I don't know how old I am. I gotta be like probably 7 or 8 or something, or maybe younger than that. I would say 7. Let's say 7 is a fair number. And I remember like coming home. I think it would be like obviously after school. The sun's going down. I would come in. I could smell my mom's cooking, and she'd be cooking dinner. I don't know. My dad and brother would be doing something, and I would sit down in the living room. I would sit down on this hard like gray carpet that we had that I thank God my dad got rid of after like 16 years later. I would sit down, and then I would flip over to Cartoon Network. And at this time, around like 6 o'clock, Cartoon Network would be airing Toonami. And I would just be greeted by Steve Bloom's voice, who is played by Tom, which is like the mascot for Toonami.
Oh, dude, so good.
Yeah. Steve Bloom has one of the best voices I've ever heard. It's so rich and deep. I'm like, oh, man. And then he would introduce the show called Dragon Ball Z. And then I would be greeted by the most hyped anime opening ever made, Rock the Dragon, which is the most simplistic song ever made. But, Jesus, it gets you. As a child, I would fucking feel a fire in my soul light up. Just getting hyped as hell.
When like the song was
playing,
playing,
Goku versus fucking Frieza for the 19th time this week, because that blending Namek did not blow up in 5 minutes.
No,
it was 5 minutes.
You know, like when the opening would come up and you see like the hands and the veins coming up, and like it was Goku's hand. And Dragon, rock the dragon. Like, oh, dude, so fucking.
And then
good.
you know
so
they show like movie clips in that opening. It was movie.
The Tree of Might. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool, man. I remember sitting down, like you, Crockett. I remember like getting home I was in Puerto Rico at the time, so like, I remember going home from like a hot ass cool day in like a military uniform,
kicking off a couple iguanas off your front porch.
Yeah, just beating them over the broom.
Get out of here!
Get scram. And I remember I would sit down in front of like this big ass like gray tube telly that I had. In like a recliner couch, like I was like a divorced 50-year-old, and I would just fucking let the dragon rock me. It was so fucking good. That's one of my favorite memories.
I can see Bryan sitting down to the couch and just hearing
believe it or not, nostalgia is actually my favorite word. I've been saying this for years. I love nostalgia. Really? Yeah. Like childhood memories and all that. I cherish that stuff completely. Like
Dude,
like,
that's great.
do you have a really strong one?
Yeah, I do. And like some people say, let it go, let it die. Like, nah. I carry it with me, and it's some like some stuff like grew up with me, shows and like stuff I watch and all that stuff. But when it came to like
Power Rangers, right?
Mostly like Power Rangers or different Digimon. Those characters that grew up, they're my age now. That's what's like insane to think of.
That's fucking crazy.
But it's something like, when it comes like what you guys bring up Toonami, like Toonami hit hard back in the day. Like it was something special coming home from school. Saying something similar to Jordan. I come home around like 4 o'clock or something. get me like a snack, like a Pop-Tart, some juice, play outside for a while for about good 2 or 3 hours, and it's like 6 or 7 now. And I come on, Toonami's on, and like it was the action block of Cartoon Network, so it's like anything was on, like Powerpuff Girl, Samurai Jack, Dragon Ball Z, GT, the original Dragon Ball, like like come on, man, that lineup, we were spoiled back then. So good. Yu Yu Hakusho, like come on, dude, like
Gundam Wing,
like Gundam shows. I don't know which ones. There was so many of them, but Gundam Wing was the one I remember the most, actually.
Zords.
Yeah.
And Yu-Gi-Oh. I think Zords played early in the morning.
Like, no, it used to be in the afternoon, but as we got older, it came around like 6 o'clock in the morning. I used to watch it before I go to school.
That's when I started watching Zords. Was early.
Yeah, like
I fucking remember specifically Toonami, because Toonami back for us started like later, started like at 7.
Yeah, we had it weekly.
We would get the week before what you guys were getting. So we were 1 week behind. At least until we got cable, we were 1 week behind. And I remember like the first time that I ever watched Dragon Ball was in Spanish. That's fucking crazy, right?
I think you told me this in AI,
Could you imagine Dragon Ball in fucking Spanish?
Hola, Goku.
And
Buenos dias, Bulma.
The first Dragon Ball thing that I ever watched was the Broly movie. The first OG Broly movie was the first thing that I remember watching from Dragon Ball, and then watching that be in Spanish. And then we got cable, and I watched Toonami, and they were doing the reruns of the Saiyan saga, and I caught it just like before Vegeta got to Earth, and that's when I started watching Dragon Ball.
Can
fucking
you say Saiyan again?
Saiyan. Super Saiyan.
Okay.
Super Saiyan. In Spanish, nosotros le decimos Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the Japanese one too. Everything but America keep it similar to Japanese, but it's Japan. They say Super Saiyajin.
Saiyajin.
Yeah, Saiyajin.
Super Saiyajin.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, like
I watched Broly say Kakaroto instead of Kakarot. So good.
Kakarot. When it comes to like childhood memories in terms of Dragon Ball, mine was closer to Dragon Ball in general when he was a kid. I remember like the tournaments, and like he did a Kamehameha, and it took like forever for him to do it. Like it took forever to do it. Like, oh my god! And like I remember the GT when he turned Super Saiyan 4 for the first time. I'll never forget that. He was fighting Baby. And then like Z. I think Z
Frieza
ended
used to scare
Gohan.
the shit out of me.
Really? I used to think it was a girl.
Yeah, Frieza scared the shit out of me as a.
Yeah, I always would say she, and still to this day, in the back of my mind, I'm almost on the verge of saying she when I'm referring to Frieza.
Smoker, 50-year-old accent. Chain smoker. Yeah. No, like
that's a good way to put it for Frieza's voice actor, chain smoker.
Then
so sorry, you were saying like nostalgia is such an important feeling for you.
Yeah, I love it, and I get when people say like nostalgia sometimes can be bad. It can blind you from some things, or it can hold things back in terms of some stuff. Right. But yeah, I love nostalgia. Like I remember like
you're being sentimental. That's what nostalgia is. You're sentimental towards the past.
Yeah,
a simpler time, a happy place. It's nothing bad. It's happy memories. That's all it is. So there's nothing to feel ashamed for.
Yeah, like I remember when Spyro and Ignited trilogy got announced, and that was the first. Spyro 2 was the first game I ever played, and I've been like asking this for years. They remastered this game, like Pixar like graphics and all that stuff, and I'm losing my freaking mind. Like you can ask like Byron, I'm freaking out because this game is very important. Like I know it sounds weird, but you guys probably wouldn't even met me if it wasn't for that game. That game kind of inspired me to do like what I want to do, like animation and make video games. So that one thing branched off to a lot of things. I did not know that. Yeah, so there's like a lot of nostalgia can branch out to a lot of things. Some people don't realize it. Like it can just, I don't know. It's like just some key things in people's lives benefit them some form.
Yeah, people. Nostalgia is one of those things for me that if people don't think about this, but like the things that you enjoyed as a kid, like really do play a part in your personality as an adult. Like, a significant portion of it. Like I remember watching Dragon Ball Z and then seeing how Goku interacted with everybody and how he was so accepting and like kind to everybody unless he was ready to throw hands. It was always like that version of Goku and like Naruto and all the anime that I used to watch as a kid. That was like, friendship is really important. Always be kind to your friends. Don't be an asshole. Like those are things that like stuck with me, and like to this day, I like find it really difficult to be like really cynical about relationships as a result, because like all of these great cartoons like taught me like what friendship could mean. Theoretically, it was like so especially for like an autistic kid. Like they have no idea how to figure that shit out.
It's funny you brought up nostalgia topic, because I was at break at work like 2 days ago, and I was looking at these WWE clips on Twitter. I'm like, God, I used to love WWE. These characters I used to grow up watching. I used to hate it. Then my cousin kept bringing it up all the time, so I started getting invested into it. So I was watching the clips on Twitter. You probably see my retweets, and like, God, I miss that hype every Monday and Friday. Go on the bus the next day and talk about what happened. Like that just the excitement. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I miss stuff like that. Or like when Yu-Gi-Oh was huge at the time in school. Like it was so bad at our school, like they had to ban cards from coming to the school.
I think they banned them at everybody, because
Really?
our school also had to ban them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kept bringing them to school. And like do you remember like you would bring your Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and it'd be like a fat deck like this. You didn't,
'Cause they had no limit back in the day.
Like fuck it, I'll have every card in the deck.
And like I remember,
That's
I never
fucking
forget it. In third grade, Miss Harris. Shout out to Miss Harris. She's listening to this. I don't know where she is. She's my third grade teacher, but this when Beyblades was the thing at the time, and
Right.
we had it and had so much fun that she brought her own and played it with us, and that was like the coolest moment ever.
Wow.
Yeah, she brought her own
That's
Beyblade.
fucking
We just
cool.
played on her desk. Yeah.
Yeah, we when Yu-Gi-Oh was really big at our school, I remember feeling so excited. I got the Dark Magician deck, and like they banned the cards around the school because people were playing them so much. But then my best friend at the time, his grandfather was the principal of the entire school. So we would go to the principal's office and play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Had to hook up, dude.
There
Dude,
was
it was
this-
so much fun.
There was this kid on my bus. I know it's random, but this bus called 116, the best bus in history. That bus was awesome. There was so many people up there.
Everyone had like new like you were gonna about to have some fun shit on like a certain like this classroom or like this bus or something.
That bus was like a very important thing in my life at the time as a kid. Like going up there and just talking about like nerd culture stuff, because we were all kids and just talk about anything. And I remember like one kid named Major gave me a full book bag full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He's like, yeah, sure. And years later, I was in my edgy years, I threw them away.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked back like, God, why did I do that? It was like a whole book bag full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, some bent somewhere. Then I remember this is how old stuff is, because I remember like on a bus, I traded someone a Red Eyes Metal Dragon for a Power Ranger Dino Thunder Megazord on the bus. So that's like, who does that? What I did.
That seems like like an even trade though.
Darkness Metal Dragon for a Megazord toy.
Those about as rare as each other, I suppose.
He
Was that like
expensive
a
now.
figuring?
Yeah, it was a
Darkness
toy.
Metal Dragon, yeah, that's probably.
I got my Space Godzilla toy from a kid on that same bus. I still have that figure. Chris, the kid was awesome. He's a Godzilla
I
fan.
love that.
What's up?
I love that. Like there are like really like significant relationships that are born from just being a kid and like hanging out and like enjoying shit that you're like, and that's actually like, all right, cat's done. That's actually my like the saddest thing about like nostalgia, because I think nostalgia is such a powerful fucking feeling.
It is.
Like missing something that you were really excited about and something that you shared a lot of laughs with or just made you feel good. It's such a human feeling.
Yeah.
And I miss feeling like that. There are very few things as you grow older that get you that same amount of excitement. And that is like the saddest thing about growing older to me, is that like not getting to experience that same cultural phenomenon with people. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you would sit around with 6 people that you never knew, never talked to, never interacted with, but by the end of like by the end of like an hour playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you guys would be the best of friends, and you would meet up and do it again the next day. Or like watching Dragon Ball or playing Dragon Ball on like a PlayStation that someone bought to the library. Like it's those kinds of things are so incredibly powerful to me, and I cherish them so much. And it's I'm always kind of upset when people say like nostalgia, like, oh, you only like that because it's nostalgic or you grow up with it. It's just like, yeah, that's exactly why.
But sometimes
it reminds you of a simpler time.
And sometimes that thing is actually good. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. Some people had that mindset as well.
Right.
Like, oh, because it's new is better, or it's old is bad. That's not sometimes the case. Yeah, like nostalgia is a very interesting thing actually, because it's like.
Crocker, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Tay.
Oh, nothing. Go ahead, Tay.
It was like have you guys like in the past 5 years? Do you have experienced something nostalgic from that time, like from 2015 maybe? Does it work that way?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I can remember to this day. So this is very inside baseball. So when I was in college, and I mean, you two will obviously know, but for the audience, you may not know, there was a room where all the animation students hung out. It's called 217. And it was like essentially like what Tay was saying with the bus. It was a very cool place where a lot of cool people just hung out.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of memories. I mean, the walls probably have like laughter like ingrained into them because we'd had so much fun in there. And I remember one time just looking around the room while everyone was laughing, I just kind of took myself out of my own reality. And I said to myself, I'm like, I got to cherish this moment right now. Because this is I'm definitely going to miss this whenever it's gone. And I have to cherish every little moment I can get out of this right now. It was really taking myself out of the situation just to appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's funny you say that because I said that to myself. I'm not sure you was in the room, but I was in 217 too, and I just hear everyone. I did the exact same thing you did. I hear everyone's talking, laughing, conversations, and I kind of like stopped doing the dance. I said out loud, "I'm gonna miss you guys." It was really random.
Yeah.
And they started. Were you guys in there? I said it too. I remember like Dre and Shaw. Everyone was in there. I can't remember you guys was in there.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember like being present for any of those moments, but I do remember having that moment myself. Because I used to work right across from 217, and I would pop in, and I became friends with you guys, the animators, purely because that room was so much fun, and I worked right across from it. And so like one day I just remember I was working, and I walked in, and I walked by our buddy Ethan, who was constantly drawing hentai on the computer, and I looked down at his monitor. I see like this giant tentacle beast grabbing this tiny woman. And that was the moment. For me, that was just like, man, this is never going to happen again. Like, I'm never going to walk by somebody and see that.
This room is lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. And it was like, I remember having so much fun in that room because it was like an echo chamber of self-expression. Like, everybody there was consistently themselves, laughing at the things that they wanted to laugh. And like, it was a community unlike nothing that I've ever experienced. And I think that's the only thing about my college experience that I'm like truly nostalgic for. It was like having so many people of the same species like in the same room.
It's fun.
If I would compare that situation to how I was in like high school, it would be I would be shocking to myself because in like high school I would have like situations like that too, but I was never truly myself. I could never fully express how I would feel on the inside. Right. It always felt like I was like a prison in my own skin. Not to sound so emo about it. Yeah. But not to sound so Linkin Park about it. But I never had that like super like connected moment with a lot of my friends. I had friends that were into stuff like this, and I would be extremely good friends with them just because of those things. But I never had that like deeper heart to heart connection like I made in 217, which is wild to me now. Because I would never experience. If I was if that was my high school self, I would never think that was even possible in my future.
Yeah.
That's
and like
spot on with me completely. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because it was a place where you would walk in and like people would miss you, and like people would be like vulnerable about how much they missed you being in the room. Like you would leave. You wouldn't show up for it because you didn't have class, and then when you walked in, they would like celebrate the fact that you're in the fucking room.
Yeah, people would greet you when you walk in the room. I'll never forget it either. They did it a few times.
Yeah, it was crazy. Hey, no matter what they were doing.
It's funny, like, Jordan said it.
Yeah, it was great.
That's spot on because I always tell myself, like every once in a blue moon, like me before going there was a completely different person. What I am now is like probably like not by the age, but just as a person, I matured a lot compared to going there. Like I was super shy, didn't talk about what I like. There was a point where I didn't care, but still wasn't like Jordan said. I wasn't deep in connection with stuff people like as well. It was like everyone there is like you, but a different form. Does it make any sense? Everyone has a variation of you because everyone because when I mentioned something like Dragon Ball in high school, like I used to watch when I was a kid. That's it. Right. I'm there 217. It's a full conversation for 2 hours about full conversation Dragon Ball.
We're writing that on the whiteboard. Dude, there was a projector in there, and we had a computer hooked up to the projector, and we would just watch shit too.
That is the closest I'm nostalgic to from anything that's 2015 to like 2018. Like I constantly miss that environment because it was so easy to lose yourself for 6 hours.
Dude, 2016 and 2017 is fantastic years.
Yeah,
fantastic year. I never forget coming from Florida, ready to come home to see Jordan and Ty.
Yeah,
I hugged the wall when I came back to my house, to the apartment. Like, God, I miss it here. That summer was awesome. That was a great summer. Yeah, the dungeon. We used to get cookies every night and all that stuff.
When did we live in the dungeon? What summer was that?
I think it was
2017 summer.
2017. That was the greatest summer of my fucking young life. Dude.
Same.
We got into so much shit.
That was
so
awesome.
Many wild nights. It sucked too because you didn't get to spend the whole summer with us. You came home like halfway through the break.
Yeah, I went to Florida and I came back home, and went to Charlotte and hugged the wall as soon as I walked. Like, God, I miss it here. That's when I became fully attached to here. Yeah.
Right.
There was that moment. I remember fully being attached to Charlotte. Like, wow, these people here are awesome compared to like my boring hometown. And that's the thing with like when it comes, like there was nothing going on in my hometown or where I'm from.
Right.
There's nothing exciting going on. Then like I met all of you guys. Like, wow, there's something interesting.
Same. I feel similarly about going to Puerto Rico. I was like really apprehensive about Charlotte for like 4 years. Then I moved in and I was like I met my high school crew and like I had a good time and I'm like, oh, this is what being yourself kind of feels like. And then AI like matured that for me, and then it's such a fun little trip. Like growing up, I don't think I would be anywhere near the same person that I am today if I hadn't had those experiences.
True.
And it's nostalgia in itself is like sometimes it gets kind of like corroded through like all this marketing that's been happening, all this nostalgia based marketing.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah,
it's like everything is the same as they're trying to recapture the feeling of what was happening like 10 years ago or like 15 years ago. And even people do that on a personal basis. Like people are constantly trying to chase the same high that they were feeling like back in high school or back in college or anything like that. And it's like nostalgia only works as a feeling. It only feels good as a feeling if you're okay with letting some of those things go. If you're okay in acknowledging that those particular conditions are probably never going to be met again. But the fact that you enjoyed them and then you lived through them and now you carry that feeling with you everywhere you go, it's like the most powerful thing about nostalgia for me. Because it's like... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense how it's explained. That's how I feel then. Exactly. That's spot on. Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because I miss a lot of things, but I never want to go back to those things because I changed so much as a result of those things happening. You know, like I wouldn't be able to enjoy.
Yeah, I would love to go back, but what you spot on is like you gotta let it go. The progress in life that sucks. That's the hard part.
Right, that is hard.
Do you guys let it go. Like throwing away your toys?
Yeah. Throwing away some of them.
Too. Yeah.
That was a sad moment. I cried. I legitimately cried.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I cried.
I had an Andy moment.
All right.
Remember Andy from Toy Story 3?
Yeah.
Dude, I had a huge toy box. I had a lot of toys. I love collecting toys.
I did too. Like, I remember. So, like, I'm on the other side. I kind of had to slow. I think I don't know. I had some traumatic experiences as a child. And I think at a certain point, I think it just made me grow up really quickly at a certain point, a certain age. And I remember throwing away my toys and stuff, but like, I don't play with any of these. These are just kind of in my way. And I just remember I would have these like phases where I throw stuff out, where I just like put everything in a bag and I'm like, okay, gone, just throw it out, and then just never look back at it.
It's great you mentioned toys because I went to Second Charles sometime last year, and there was a Starscream figure they had that I had as a kid, the full set with pieces not missing. And I was going to buy it. Then I thought to myself, I'm 24 years old. Why did I need to buy this? That's what nostalgia.
Buy a glass case and put it in it. That's what like I do now.
But that's the problem with nostalgia, though. Like I'm too old for that. Buying.
I have like I have the same. I get the same shit too. Like
yeah.
There was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Monopoly board, and I'm like, oh shit, I need that. And then I'm like, do I need that? Do I really need this?
That's the thing.
Because every time I would go to Second Charles, I would look at that and be like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm like, what really do I? I'm just buying it because it says Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, I'm not gonna get any use out of this.
Yeah,
right.
It's just gonna be sitting there. There's a difference between collecting figures and, for that purpose, what am I gonna do with that figure?
Right.
Like I'm not gonna play with it.
I mean, yeah, unless you're actually like collecting it. I mean, I'm not gonna shit anyone for collecting anything because I collect Godzillas and Gundams, so.
But they're not nostalgia
based.
based.
Stop doing because I'm running out of room.
Yeah.
Crocker gonna be putting up shelves just for the fucking Godzillas.
Well, I had 2 giant glass cases in my house now full. They're both full of like Godzilla. One is full of Godzillas and one is full of Gundams.
That's fucking cool. Man, I love that shit. I love proudly displaying like all the stuff that you're like interested in, and like I'm really attached to nostalgia, not as like just my own experiences, but like fucking like, I have shit like this. Like I have an old fucking Polaroid camera that was manufactured in 1988, and like you take a picture with this fucking thing with the Polaroid, and it's just such a comforting aesthetic, something that like is hard to replicate. And that's kind of like the feeling of nostalgia that's what nostalgia means for me. Nostalgia means hard to replicate. It means hard to capture back. It's sort of
that camera you just showed me just reminded me of this memory I had with being at my grandfather's house, and a bunch of my family members were there, and I think it's one of my aunts or cousins or someone. They're using that I can't say the word.
Polaroid.
That camera, yeah. And then they're like flashing it, and then watching it. The film comes slowly out, and you gotta flap it.
You gotta let it air out. I don't want to ruin your memory. You do not need to flap Polaroid pictures. Okay, that's.
Oh really?
Outcast Andre 3000 started that shit because he said shake it like a Polaroid picture, and then everybody thinks that you gotta shake fucking. You don't. All right, it's a chemical reaction.
You gotta let it just.
You just let it sit. You just fucking let it sit. It's a chemical reaction.
So why would he say shake it like a Polaroid?
Because people thought all the time that you should shake them. And
you know
you just see the camera go like that.
You know how powerful nostalgia is as I was about like 3 or 4 that my grandma used to work at a restaurant, and there just scent this greasy smell. You can smell it. And I remember like years later, like in high school, and someone came into the classroom with that scent, and it took me back instantly.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like I forgot about it, but when I smelled it,
now
like
shake it. Shake it. Bryan, shake it, please.
No, I will not shake it.
If you don't shake it right now, I'm gonna explode.
There you go. That's all you get. I totally get that feeling, like a weird scent that just triggers like a long lost flashback.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the best. Feels like a Kingdom Hearts cutscene when it happens.
Yeah,
that's weird because nostalgia. I mean, memories are triggered by sight and then smell.
Yeah, scent is
so certain smells can trigger a long memory.
Yeah.
Wait, so Crockett, let me ask you this: what is your favorite? Your favorite childhood memory? Is it that Dragon Ball Z memory, or is it like there's like?
Yeah, it's probably definitely that Dragon Ball Z memory, because it is. Because nothing was in my life was like fucked up. Not to be sad about it, but nothing in my life was fucked up, or I was just innocent, and it was just pure. I can just enjoy something, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything going on in my life. It was just pure joy.
I totally get that.
I remember one time I'm a babysitter though. I remember I had these like brand new shorts on, and I was like downstairs in this basement playing. And I remember, like, my mom was there. My mom had just got there to pick me up, and they were calling my name. And I was running upstairs, and there was, like, this hanging nail. And, like, it caught the side of my new shorts, and it just ripped the shit out. I remember like walking up the stairs. My mom just like, what happened? I'm like, I swear I just ripped them.
How about
It was
you?
those cool ones too that like it was pants and they zipped off.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you guys remember those pants?
That fucking bullshit?
Oh my god, the zip pant short things.
Yeah, it was
I had
those.
those.
That's the whitest thing
What
you've
a
ever said to
stupid
me.
design.
Yeah.
It was cool as fuck as a kid though.
It was. I used to have a pair too, and then I zipped them off, and then I lost the legs.
Yeah, you lose
Yeah,
it.
he always loses some. He lets loose fabric. You
What do
gotta
you
zip
fucking
up.
do with them after you zip them off? What are you gonna do?
Put 'em in your
I had
pocket.
like
Go to
gray
the back
sweatpant
pocket?
versions. They're a stupid concept.
What about you, Brian? What's your favorite?
I think that my favorite like childhood memory was also like it was two things that I remember very fondly. It was playing Halo 3 every single day after school. Like I would get home from school and I would play Halo 3 for like 3 hours. And I would just murk everybody and I hang out with my friends from the neighborhood. And like at that time I lived in like a one street. It was like a gated one street community. And then like it was like 5 of us in the neighborhood and we would all like ring our doorbells and like go hang out and just be like, hey, is Bryan home? And then like I would just fuck off to the park and we would, I don't know what the fuck we would talk about. We were 12. But we talked for 7
Brian,
hours.
you have no idea how bad I wanted that as a kid. I wanted to live in a suburb so bad around like other kids.
It
Mine
was
was a
pretty great.
mix between country and suburbs, kind of like.
Where
Yeah.
did you live, Tay? Were you like in the middle of
It was a small town, but it was like apartments and stuff, like
got you.
projects, as people would call it. I always say this to people, and the people laugh, but my childhood was Eddie and Eddie's.
Right.
All these kids around. That was my childhood, like that.
That's fucking awesome, man, though.
Yeah.
Like I love that shit.
Again, kill for that. I was alone in the woods.
I had a lot of childhood memories I can remember and love, but there's one that struck me. I think about it every Christmas. I remember I probably had to be like 3 or 4. And I remember in my aunt's car at my grandma's house, looking up the stars, and Jay-Z's song playing "Hard Knock Life." You know that song with Jay-Z? It was playing on the radio, and I just remember it's like Christmas lights at my grandma's house, just looking at the stars. And I never forget that. It was just like some random moment I remember. Like I can remember stuff far back. Like I have photos when I was 3 going to King's Dominion. And I'm like, I remember this. I remember the feel. I remember my grandmother was still alive at the time there. Like, and my cousin we saw like Blue's Clues, went to the Blue's Clues house.
Right.
You saw Angelica. Like there was like a morning breeze. And I remember that. That's like my furthest memory. Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to the beach. I went to Myrtle Beach, and I remember the car ride. I could smell when we finally got there, you could smell the sea salt.
I love that smell.
I could feel it going in the car, and I'm like, are we near the beach? And they're like, yeah.
I have a lot of fishing memories too. Get some barbecue chips and get some. Yeah, the South is really a funny thing because you just go back and you just think about it and just like start smiling about it. It's like, wow.
You
good
would say
times.
one of my favorite memories, apart from the Halo one and the Dragon Ball one, is that it's gonna be really fucking dumb. But I remember just before I moved to the States, me and my mates from Puerto Rico went to San Juan, and like we had this big, massive like dinner. It was like seafood, meat, whatever the fuck. It was like a send-off dinner because I left in like a month. And I remember we ate, we stuffed ourselves full of food, and then we walked away and just took a walk through Old San Juan. And the only reason this memory stands out is because while that was happening, something that I ate just completely destroyed me. Like my stomach was in so much pain. And we were walking, and in Viejo San Juan, there's not a whole lot of public restrooms because all the buildings are like from like early colonial, like Spanish, architecture. And like
Cobblestone streets.
Yeah, they kind of like block that shit off. They're like, this is like tourist, like don't fuck with it. And I remember that I had to shit so badly that I was walking with like my legs were like stiff. They were like fucking, like I was moving like 1 inch every step. It was awful. And I was in pain, doubled over in pain. And I remember that someone finally looks back at me and he goes like, "Are you okay?" And I just go, "Absolutely not." And
why didn't you tell anyone?
Because I was embarrassed. I was like, I actually like, I had to shit so badly. Like I could feel my body. Like I had cold sweats. I'm like fucking like shaking and like just fucking doing that.
Tell me this story ends with you shitting on the street.
No. Thank God, no. I was like my asshole was clenched, and I remember seeing this like majestic, beautiful fucking like old building with doors. Like for some reason they made doors like 70 feet tall back in the day, with like massive like castle doors.
Everyone was taller back then.
And it was like, shut up, Crockett. And it was like a courtyard. It was like an open square courtyard where people do like performances to this day.
Oh my God, this story is getting better.
And I walked in there and it was like empty, and there was like one old janitor. It's like one old Puerto Rican dude. And he's just mopping away. And he sees me, and my dad goes like, hey, do you have a bathroom? And this man leads me to like the most ornate fucking like outside bathroom that I've ever seen. Like tall mahogany fucking doors, like 6 feet.
It's outside
7
in a
feet.
garden.
Yeah, I mean it was the most gorgeous bathroom I've ever been in.
It was meant for you.
It was like
There's a butler. There's like your tissue, sir.
It was fucking heavenly. And I remember I sat down and like I closed like the 8-foot door stall. You know, like it was massive, and it had like this really metal like latch that made like it felt like a bolt action rifle, like gunk, gunk. Like it was
It's funny you can remember that. Yeah.
It was great. And then I blew it up. I fucking destroyed it.
Just desecrated this royal bathroom.
Just completely.
But it was worth it.
And I walked out fucking sweating because it was like the middle of like Puerto Rican summer in this like closed off concrete bathroom. And like I just remember like walking out of that bathroom and looking into that courtyard, and I didn't think this, but if I was my age back then, I would have gone like, "This is a beautiful day for me." Then it was great.
Did you ever go to the ice cream place in San Juan, the really popular ice cream place?
Fuck if I know, probably. Yeah.
I remember when I was there, like there was this one ice cream place in San Juan, and the line was long as fuck. Because they ran out of ice cream after like an hour.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, It was hot as fuck though. But I mean, ice cream was the best ice cream I ever had in my life.
I gotta say, unless you've been walking the streets on San Juan, and like got shitted by a pigeon, had a piragua, or absolutely like got harassed by some random homeless dude asking for tourist money, you have not been in San Juan.
It's funny because like
I think I got shit on by a pigeon.
Yeah, you probably did.
As a kid, when like I think I told you guys before, but I haven't become this quote unquote tech person until like 2010. I used to be outside a lot, constantly growing up, and toys. Video games were like the secondary thing, while toys and outside was the first thing.
Yeah.
Then like when I got older, like I did this stuff. Not that I don't hate anything, it's just bizarre to think I stopped being that outside
it's like
person.
A weird transition.
Yeah.
It's like a change in culture happened. Like it was just a huge change in culture because I was the same way back in Puerto Rico. Like I was outside all the fucking time.
Yeah. Like a stick and pine cones was like everything you imagine can think of.
Yeah.
The stick was a gun, a sword.
Yeah, I remember playing like gun sword a lot.
Yeah.
Gun sword.
I remember just like really getting into like shonen animes as a kid, and then I would just replicate everything I would see like
that was
outside
me.
of the woods.
Come at me hard. I was like 10 years old.
Were you even a kid if you like try to shoot the moon with a Kamehameha wave?
Exactly.
You know,
I still do it. What are you talking about?
Me too.
I still do the
trying to go
Kamehameha.
Super Saiyan, like out in the woods and screaming your lungs out.
Yeah. Dude, this we used to do all the time. We call it fighting. So all we did, we play fight outside.
Yeah.
Just using imaginations. Like I always had like firepower or something.
Yeah.
My cousin had like lightning abilities. Yeah, exactly. And we just like fight outside. Like, and in your mind, you see it.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
if someone's walking down the street, like, what the heck those kids are doing?
What are these coked up kids?
We used to do that Pokemon the same way too. My friend Harvey, childhood friend Harvey, used to play Pokemon. We used to literally throw air balls.
That's fucking that's
Just
adorable.
do it. Yeah. And I was like, just say whatever Pokemon.
Minna, you can't bring me the toy.
I thought that was a real rat. There
Yeah,
for a
me
second.
too.
Like,
That's
what
why I
the
look like
fuck,
that.
Bryan?
My cat loves to play fetch. but I will throw it to her, and then she'll just fucking leave it. She'll like go get it and then bring it and then leave it 4 feet in front of my door, and then get mad at me because I can't fucking throw it at her. You asshole.
So you gotta convince your cat that you're lazy and can't get up.
Anyway, yeah, man, nostalgia is such an interesting feeling. I love feeling it, and it always leaves me as like kind of sad and kind of happy at the same time. And then like when we had this weird wave of like nostalgia bait movies and content that was just like, it felt like cultural necromancy, you know, like they were like trying to bring back everything that was good about the 90s because nobody could come up with an original thought for like a disappointed...
The 80s too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is a good prime example of that. Banking off that.
Exactly.
It's the 80s. Yeah.
And it's like...
I remember Jordan spotted it out to me. Like, there's this weird thing of nostalgia coming out. I didn't really click onto it till he said it. Like, all these things. Like, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Came back, the original version.
Yeah.
As a movie. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Which the movie was awesome.
Yeah,
but it was so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just...
And like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I was just...
But it's this idea of like it's the idea that like we are as a generation, because I think that what really happened is that our generation was hit so hard by like the disappointment of like a culture that like lied to us that we want to capture like the way that we were feeling back then, because like our emotional states are fucked. Like millennials and Gen Zers, like they have been really disappointed with the current state of things. So like a sad culture is a culture that will revert back to the things that made them feel good before they had to face all these problems. And I think that's kind of like the root of like all of this nostalgia things that started coming up. And I don't mind it, but it's also like when you're relying on nostalgia as a culture, it means that you're stagnating as a culture. Nobody's creating new things. We're all just reimagining the corpse of a thing that we really used to like. And it's a weird feeling to see that in culture. Like, I appreciate personal nostalgia, but the marketing of nostalgia always felt disingenuous to me.
What's bizarre?
It's like personal nostalgia is one thing, but like a cultural nostalgia is a whole nother. They're trying to replicate a
generation
sense of a place in time in a culture. So like when like Terminator came out, that was like the hottest movie, or Star Wars or something. Them just taking those IPs they're not giving any time for anything to try new.
Right.
So they're just like they're playing it safe, and they're like, this will actually, you know, we're gonna see a return on our investment as we make Terminator 5, or we remake Terminator, or
Jurassic
Ninja
World.
Turtles, Power Rangers, anything like that.
And it's like
because they know like we are gonna go pay money to go see it.
What I was gonna say is like from like the mid 90s to the 2000s, that nostalgia doesn't exist in media that much compared to the 80s. No, I don't know what that's about. There's a lot of things around that period, but I don't know why they don't target that audience at all.
Well, I think it's because there's a sweet spot for nostalgia to hit where it was like idealization for the 80s happened. Like, people don't remember the 80s. People remember a version of the 80s. People remember the good things that happened in the 80s and the way that they felt good in the 80s. Yeah. But in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, we still remember how bad those years
9/11.
were. You know, like 9/11 happened. We had MTV award shows started being a thing back in the early 90s. It was just like it's a moment in culture that hasn't been idealized yet. We haven't gone back as a culture and go like, you know what, the 90s were actually really fun. But the 80s already went through that. The 80s and the 70s went through that. But the 90s haven't. And it's going to take another 10 to 20 years before like our generation are kind of in that middle age period where we're like, man, the 90s weren't so fucking bad. And then we start catering back to that nostalgic feeling of the 90s, and we start to separate what like really made the 90s fun versus what like really made it not fun. Like the idealized version of the 80s now in Stranger Things is an 80s time period that wasn't racist or sexist or any of those things. It's like, well, people don't talk about any of that stuff because it was a non-issue. But back in the actual 80s, we had coked up secretaries being sexually assaulted by coked up CEOs all the fucking time. And nobody seems to remember that because we've idealized it.
Wall Street, like Wall Street like ran on coke.
Yeah, exactly.
Coke was so fucking big in the 80s.
So like it's a moment. We haven't gotten to the point where the 90s, we look at the 90s and go like, you know what, jorts were okay. And so
no. It's funny because you look at movies from like 2000s, early 2000s, like, God, they dress so bright.
Yeah.
Compared to like how we dress now.
And saggy and like,
yeah.
We kind of reversed everything. It's like, it used to be like, you know, bright and like baggy. Now it's like tight and low profile, black.
Yeah, and dark.
No, it's funny. I remember in middle school, I wore a jersey, and someone said, people don't wear jerseys anymore. I'm like, huh. I don't know when the clothes transition. How did that work? Have you thought about that?
I've always missed it. I've always worn fucking overshirts and jackets for like all of my life since I moved to the States. And before that, I used to wear shorts and shirts because I was in fucking Puerto Rico.
Yeah, how does that transition? How do someone decide to like say like?
I think it transitions when.
How does that work?
It's media. It's media related. Like
Is it really?
Yeah, it's because culture is influenced almost entirely by the media that we consume. So like someone in the 60s right now, the only outfits that you see from the 60s are like fucking suits and weird dresses and Christina Hendricks because of Mad Men. But it's like it's just the transition happens. Like people in media start dressing differently, and then people start imitating in real life, and then real life that becomes ubiquitous to the point where people don't think about the fact that it started as a trend because some celebrity or media star wore it. And that kind of repeats itself throughout time. Like, can you think of anyone that dressed like Britney Spears before Britney Spears dressed like Britney Spears?
No. I'm just saying, like, if I went back to like the early 2000s, I'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Because the way I dress super casual.
Exactly.
Like a shirt, jeans, snapback. But I'm saying, like, I'm more specifically talking about like, how, like, do you go out and buy clothes and just think about the area you're in or something? Or how does that work? Well, do you not realize it? Or you just do it?
Well, you don't get to choose. You get to choose from a selection that's tailor made. So, like, if you notice, like, in the early 2000s, there was a lot of, like, a button-up, short-sleeve flame shirts. Shit like that.
The guy
I remember, like, going to school as a kid, and I would have, like, the dye hair
Frosted
gel.
tips.
So I would go to school with, like, green hair and stuff all the time.
Oh, my God.
Because I think early 2000s was, like, heavily influenced by, like, punk rock. Punk rock was, like Blink 182 and
Psalm 41,
Fall Out Boy,
Green Day,
Linkin Park,
Green Day, all those punk rock bands was getting big, so a lot of the media reflected that.
Yeah,
a lot of like you as a child was influenced by stuff like that. I was a child. I mean, that's like it's kind of just like shaped me who I am today. Is like those core like moments in my life. We're shaped by probably around like 2002 to like 2008 or something is what shaped us who we are.
A lot of people say like the 90s didn't really die till like 2005. Apparently they didn't want to let it go. You heard that before?
Every generation that happens, whenever we enter a new decade, like the 2000s didn't die until 2015. You know, like whenever we enter a new decade, the trends are not being... I know a weird amount about this because I like really have read about like the way that media affects culture. But there's always a transition delay when you get to like a decade. Like the 2010s had a very specific style and feel to them, and that didn't go away until like 2015. And then 2015 we started embracing around 2015, not exactly, but we started modernizing our aesthetics, and things became more minimalist and modern and anti what we call postmodernism, which is like rejecting the ideas that were brought by the previous generation, and then like sort of creating this culture of like
spot on time period. This is spot on.
And so that happens culturally for like social interactions, but that also happens in media. Media that was born in 2000 by 2015 was being satirized or commented on by the postmodernist generation that followed it. So like Joss Whedon's Buffy the Vampire Slayer is now being met with this postmodernist twist by shows like Stranger Things, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new iteration, and stuff like that. Like we have Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah, it's fucking fantastic too.
I used to watch the other one growing up.
Right, the sitcom. It was a comedy show.
Yeah.
And then now we take the postmodern and twist, and we were like, what would happen if Sabrina was actually like a witch that had real life struggles? And then they make this really intense drama about it. And that's postmodernism.
Really?
And postmodernism.
Yeah. What? I remember the cat talking and all that. Really?
Yeah, but they have it like a twist on it where it's like a more realistic Satan is type thing, like where she's gonna be the bride of Satan or something like that.
That's like an actual
dark magic
religion,
and all this
like,
mess.
Yeah, it's like an
I like the
religion.
aesthetic of it, but
I just started watching it from season 1. It is a really great show. It's interesting in the way that it handles all of like that show would not have existed in the early 2000s because we were still surviving or recovering from the satanic panic back in the early 2000s. Like that would not have been made. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, as culture evolves, nostalgia becomes hard to avoid because we are postmodernizing the thing that came before it. And in postmodernization, you take all of the questions that are raised by the previous thing, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like, well, she's a witch, but what would happen if she was actually, involved in the occult, or if like Satan had a big presence in the show, or yada yada yada. Now we have Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like Scooby-Doo, like what happens if we bring that into live action? And like the Scooby-Doo live
comics
action
is gritty.
Yeah, comics is a great example with like Marvel and like all of the superhero stuff. It's like
no, I'm saying like Scooby-Doo's gritty in the comics. There's a Scooby-Doo gum. He's gritty.
Oh, I did not know
before?
that. No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's the gritty. Yeah, it's a gritty Scooby-Doo version of comics. DC makes it, I think.
I want to read that.
DC on
the. But it's things like that, and that's what makes nostalgia such a tricky emotion. Because as we question what came before, we start to idealize what came before. Because we're thinking about it and remembering the things fondly and not for what they were. So when you idealize it, you feel good about remembering the 90s. But you don't remember like the domestic terrorism that happened in the 90s and early 2000s.
The Unabomber and all that.
Yeah, you don't really remember that. You just remember that people dressed weird and Britney Spears was a thing.
Anthrax.
And,
Or is that early 2000?
It's somewhere in that 20-year time period. But that is the crazy cultural impact of nostalgia. We wash the past of everything that made it challenging, and we keep the things that got us through. And in some like 30 years, we're going to think about 2020 for the garbage year that it was, but we're going to idealize virtual meetings.
Is it possible?
It absolutely will be. We will look at it as a character building thing.
I mean, like, did people go like during the Great Depression? Oh, those great years. Those people that survived that.
They didn't. But then it doesn't become as like those were great years. Then it becomes as like we survived that. Why is your generation struggling?
It's
like,
bragging
we were
rights
the strong generation.
Like ooh, that's a good point.
And that's what's happening now with the fucking boomers and like Gen Zers and millennials. We're like, dude, it's not the same time. History repeats itself all the time. Sorry, go ahead.
It's funny you mentioned that postmodernism around 20. That's a very spot on time line there you said, because I'm going by social media wise, like Twitter. Mm-hmm. Twitter is a completely different platform, not because of new stuff they added to it, but the environment is completely different from was it back in like 2012, 11, even to like 2013 to 14.
Yeah.
What we see now is completely different, and I'm trying to click like, when did that start?
2015,
I don't know, like
2015, 2016ish.
Yeah, that was right. That's literally the time it happened, like 2015, 2016ish, when the platform just flips to something new.
And I'll tell you
it's
why
like
that happened.
very
that happened because now social media was no longer just fun. Now social media was work. People were working for social media companies. People were learning what behavior was in social media. People were learning pattern. Consumer behavior analyst became
a freaking president used it.
Yeah. Like Obama showed up on Twitter. Like social media became legitimized in the mid 2010s as a viable form of delivering information through the digital age. And when that becomes legitimized, now you got the challenges of like, how do you keep factual information true? How do you?
I remember that happening.
The transition when it flipped.
So I remember like I flipped on the news one day, and this is like when I still consider like Twitter just to be like, you know, something for teenagers and shit. And actually, I remember when it started kind of like getting mixed. Is when your parents started using Facebook. That's when everything kind of started slowly getting like mixed in.
Yeah. Or like we hear like CNN mention Twitter, like it's Twitter. Why are we talking about Twitter? But it's what Bryan says, it's a serious thing now.
Yeah.
Because I like growing up, I didn't have a MySpace. I knew what it was, but I didn't know what that mess was. Do you guys have one back in like 2005?
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
Like a MySpace. I didn't have one because I was like I didn't get it.
Facebook.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean it was before Facebook. I remember downloading Facebook, and I'm like, I don't want to use this. I just want to keep using MySpace.
Same.
MySpace. I remember MySpace came back in 2015.
Yeah,
I kind of got nostalgic over the sound of MySpace. Like I didn't have one, but just to say it's back, I got a little nostalgic.
Yeah,
from that
because you understand.
But it's like a dead platform. Yeah,
it's
even though I didn't have one. I'm a thing.
Cultural nostalgia is arguably more interesting than personal nostalgia. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you think so? I think the opposite.
I think so too. No, I think that because cultural nostalgia is a collective. You know, like people born in the 1990s or late 1990s, like we were, are gonna feel very significantly different about our formative years than people that were 50 in them. You know, like people that were 50 in the late 90s are going to think about the late 90s as ridiculous. Like, why are all these punk rock people messing with our morals? And
what about the personal though? That's what like that thing struck you, only you, in a certain way.
I guess I find it interesting in like an anthropological way. You know, like in a, like culture really has shifted so much in the last.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I just think it's great because you're also personal nostalgia is heavily influenced by like cultural nostalgia.
That's true.
Like the things that you enjoyed as a kid, you're nostalgic for those things simply because they existed in the time where you were forming really formative and important thoughts and emotions, and you associate that content with those emotions. And that sounds kind of cynical, but it's not. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
That makes a lot of sense. Like you get nostalgic around the times you were forming, your brain is growing.
Right.
So like me in like as a child forming, like coming home from school, or me in college forming more like kind of shaping the person who I am, and I'm taking, you know, probably like that has to do like nostalgia probably has to do something with. I'm not a scientist and I don't know anything really what I'm talking about, but thank you for coming down to the podcast and hearing me rant. But I would assume nostalgia has something to do with while you are getting shaped as a person, your brain is grabbing the elements in the environment that you are in, and making you reminisce about that because you grew as a person in that moment in time.
You know where was going on, really.
Yeah,
you're innocent.
Yeah, and you're just
so like that, and then but also in college you reminisce college too because you are growing into the person you are today.
And that's exactly
a culture.
I think that you're right about the fact that there's a biological imperative for nostalgia or a biological reason for nostalgia because you're forming so many new like neural links. Like your brain is literally growing, and those things become like the things that you associate with like really intense pieces of emotion. Like I associate Dragon Ball Z with feeling good because I never had a bad experience watching Dragon Ball Z. You know, like
it's funny. Not
sorry,
like,
what's up?
Not the sidetrack, but like Gundam's a good example. As a kid, I just thought about robots. When I'm older, this is like a political show. Like, what the heck am I watching as a kid?
Oh my god, yeah, this show.
I can't watch this no more. Yeah, I couldn't watch it no more. But what I was gonna say is, where the hell do we go as a culture now? Like, where are we leading into?
A lot of sanitizer.
No, I mean like, where are we going at? Because I have no idea.
I think this year, well, not this year, but 2020 made us hit a cultural wall with a quarantine that and I think we're going to probably start suffering from it in this year in 2021 and 2022. I feel like a lot of like content got halted. So we're gonna see a lot of delays this year. We're gonna see, we're probably not gonna see something until 2023. Really.
No, I mean like as a society, not like media, nothing, none of that. Just like as people.
I think.
Yeah, where are we going?
What's gonna happen is that like 2020 brought down the collapse of a lot of like social structures and contracts. Like you had to go to work. You had to do your work at an office. You had to do this at this place. You know, like there were very specific rules about what work meant. How you consumed entertainment, like you have to go to the cinema to watch movies. And 2020, COVID broke down all of those rules. Like you can work from home now. Things are being accommodated to work in a society that doesn't need to have direct contact with each other. We are now embracing more of the digital age than we ever did before. And the reason why that feels so depressing is because humans are not built to have a digital connection. We evolved way quicker than our social brains did. So I think that we are going to experience the next couple of years where like big tech starts taking advantage of the conditions of quarantine, taking advantage of like where culture is at this point in time and like trying to make money off of it. And then we're going to grow tired of it. And then we're going to reset to a time where the digital age is still there, but we are going to disengage with it a lot more. We're going to become more present in our physical space rather than the digital space because it's not sustainable for us. It's taxing on the mental health. It's taxing on social development. It's taxing on the economic structure of the culture. Like this, America is not set up to function purely digitally or mostly digitally. Like
because people are losing their minds. You can see it right now.
Yeah, we're just not set up to do that. So I think we're going to go through a period of time where we are really embracing digital media and all of the digital content and digital information, and then just fucking grow tired of it and like renounce it in a big significant way.
What do you think the birth rate was last year? I think it dropped tremendously.
The birth rate, I probably did.
I think it's declining in the U.S. every year. I know in Japan they're in the negatives.
Yeah,
because it's more like a financial reasons. Like people can't afford that. Sadly, that sucks to say, but
people are realizing that it's a cultural shift. I mean, like what we've been talking about before, about it's like people are realizing they don't need to have kids, and it's also financially it's not a smart idea either, and it's just a contributing factor in amounts of like a bunch of other stuff. We're definitely going to see like a high drop rate within the next like 10 years easily.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we're gonna become more cynical.
I think we're already in.
Yeah, I think we're already in that, and I think that it's gonna be really hard for us to engage in anything. Postmodernism sucks. Postmodernism it's awful. It is. When you question, like postmodernism is like the fact that you can't really enjoy things because there's always some question to answer, and you can't really. I don't know.
There's no gray area anymore. It's always black and white. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
I'm a type of person that's always in a gray area. I look for both sides. People don't do it no more.
Yeah.
Because I really can't argue because some people are traumatized or something.
Right.
Yeah, some people have like reasons why they're away, but I think as a society we got to progress by listening to each other.
Yeah.
Being a gray area instead of being black and white.
I totally agree, and I think that we started talking about nostalgia, now we're talking about like political structures and whatnot. But I do think that what happens.
We kind of got off on a tangent.
Yeah. I'm not tangenting it. I'm just saying. I'm talking. Yeah.
I think that's what's happening right now politically, where like we really see the climax of like what anti-education rhetoric and like racist, fascist media has done to culture. They are falling off a favor. Like Trump just got impeached again. The people that were calling us snowflakes are now the snowflakes.
It's ironic.
It's it's things
what
like that.
Shift.
Ironic.
Yeah. It's so we're gonna see that.
I wish I had on the soundboard.
Dude.
Sorry, keep cutting you.
No, you're good. We are reversing the roles that we're at right now. Culture is gonna reverse. I think, in my opinion, it's gonna reverse back into a more genuine, like early 2000s kind of like approach to media, to content, to being a little bit more genuine with the things that you're enjoying. Because my generation and the generation after us are fucking tired of not being able to enjoy something. And that's going to make a huge impact. That's going to make a huge impact in culture, I think.
That's not ready for like these politicians, younger politicians, like our age, to become a thing or something.
Yeah.
You're going to see a big shift there.
Absolutely.
Like, and people like the old people die out. Hate to say it, but that mindset is not present no more.
It's not, yeah.
We're using ours. And we're going to see how the world changes around. That's just really interesting thing to see. We'd probably be around like 30s when that happened.
Yeah.
30s, 40s when that happened.
Mid-30s. But to bring it back around, the cool thing about nostalgia is that nostalgia allows us to look back at all of those things and kind of feel good about the progress that we've made. You know, there's a lot of shit that happened. Like, the Capitol thing is always going to be in history now. But
I won't remember it. It ain't no 9/11.
Yeah. But like that goes away after a while, and you'll see like, oh yeah, the Capitol thing happened, but the good news, we got all the racists out. So let's just enjoy that bit, and that's gonna get idealized later on, and that's kind of how we grow. We experience shit.
That's bizarre though, because you said it like Hitler or something. World War II, that was awful.
Yeah.
But I don't think they go back like, I miss the days of boiling chicken every day or something.
No, they don't. But they
boiling pigeons.
They think back at it like, I fucking lived through that. My generation is stronger than your generation. And
people live like that.
And yeah.
It's people that say so like
and
that.
they resent us for being able to like not live in that way. It's crazy. We're nearing an hour and a half. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we fucking
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I brought this up, but I remember it was at Costco, and when I was working at Costco, and these kids, all the kids have freaking like these tablets.
Yeah. I'm
like, what the heck is these tablets? And then like there's some leapfrog things, which I knew, but I guess they're more like advanced like iPads now. I'm like, that's what kids play with now?
Are you talking about leapfrog?
No, but they're like freaking like iPads now.
Yeah.
They have YouTube, anything.
That's what it is though, right? Leapfrog?
Yeah, remember Leapfrog, the toy company?
That's the tablet. They make tablets now and shit.
Dude,
this is one when they clicked. I'm like, God, I'm old.
You know how we had to learn how to use computers? Like we had to physically sit in a computer and figure it out. Kids don't have to do that.
My 3-year-old has not used an iPhone.
Yeah.
I said my 3-year-old. My 3-year-old cousin has. I don't have a kid no more, but my 3-year-old cousin knows how to use an iPhone. You know that when someone's calling, he knows how to flick it away so he can stay on YouTube. Yeah. He's 3. Like, what are you doing? That's not right.
Damn, dude.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I wonder what the future is gonna hold for. Like, I mean, these kids are gonna be like cyborgs.
Yeah, it's gonna be Cyberpunk 2077 in fucking 52 years.
Oh shit!
Let's hope they patch it right.
God. Let's hope they don't have any fucking bugs.
They made a statement the other day. I didn't watch. You see that?
No, I didn't see it. I've just been enjoying.
It's a video.
All right.
What a fucking
Brian, where can they find you at?
What a fucking way to end that. They can find me on Twitter at BryanRchia and Twitch at BryanBrowny. I just hit Twitch affiliate, so come subscribe to me.
Oh yeah, go sub. Tay, where can they find you at?
Nowhere. Not just messing. You can find me at Twitter at _TayInfinite. Right? Yeah. And yeah, that's it. The stuff is below in the description. Just click on that. Yeah.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at CyberCalamity at Twitter, and if you want to follow me and sub to me on Twitch, you can follow me at
these affiliate losers here. I'm
getting guys, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for coming down to the show. We really do appreciate it. That was a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
So take care.